One of the weirdest symptoms that can happen is when you're really tired, you're sleepy on the couch, ready for bed, and then the second you lie down, you're wide awake. This used to happen to me all the time, and it was so frustrating and confusing because I'd be practically falling asleep on the couch waiting for bedtime. I would go to bed, clearly my body's ready, and then I'd be wide awake. Like, what the hell? The reason this happens is from pressure and fear. So if you're on the couch and you're starting to get sleepy, maybe your head is nodding. When you're on the couch, you have no pressure to sleep yet. Think about it. You have no fear yet because you're not in bed. You are just watching TV, enjoying yourself, no pressure to sleep, and you fall asleep. But the second you lay in bed, all that pressure to sleep, you're there to sleep, comes back. And then you also have fear, like, what if I don't sleep? How am I gonna get through tomorrow if I don't fall asleep? Like, all this stuff starts to bubble up and come up, and then you're wide awake. So here's what worked for me and can work for you too, is first I would find all the reasons that I was placing pressure on myself or I was scared if I didn't sleep. I literally just like brain dump everything I could think of on paper. You're not doing this like right at bedtime, but find some time to do it. And then you can start to discover what pressures am I placing on myself? What fear do I have? And then you can start to kind of reframe them. What I did is like, I'm worried I'm going to get fired at my job, which is a real fear, and that places pressure on yourself, right? So I would look back, okay, every single day up till now, I've done a decent job. I have made it through work. I have even had days where I've done good. Maybe I even received a compliment from my boss. Like, yeah, it'd be ideal to get sleep, but we're able to get through. That kind of takes off some of the pressure. So I did this for every single pressure and fear. I've looked back, okay, I've been able to do it so far. Or find whatever reason helps support your belief, like something easy you can still believe, but takes off some of the pressure, if that makes sense. You can even keep this all on a piece of paper and have your reframe. So whenever you're feeling the pressure, you're scared, you can keep it next to your bedside and then you can reference it whenever you like. That's what I used to do. And then the second thing I did was I would go to bed to rest. Because when you have the goal of sleeping, that places pressure on yourself, especially when you're struggling to sleep in the first place. So I would go to bed to rest awake and remind myself that resting awake is still restorative. Yeah, it's not the same as actual sleep, but it's a hell of a lot better than being up, frustrated, getting upset, getting anxious, because that would drain all my energy for the next day. So by just focusing on resting awake and relaxing, doing deep breathing, things like that, it really helped me feel a little bit better the next day and took the pressure off. And with time, I did start to fall asleep more and more and more. For me, my biggest pressure was work because I was working as a nurse. I had patients relying on me, medications to make sure I wasn't making errors on, and giving injections and all sorts of things that placed a lot of pressure on myself. So I know what it's like. What is your biggest pressure? I'm curious what everyone's pressure is.